Good morning, everybody. We are like right on the Utah border, so we're gonna rock and roll to Utah, go all the way through Utah today. Beautiful state, one of my favorites. So is Colorado and Nevada as well. We're probably gonna stay in Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas! The last time I stayed in Las Vegas, I made terrible financial decisions.
We're still broke as hell.
So I'm gonna try and keep to myself while I'm there this time. We'll see how that goes. But we gotta get there first, so let's hit the road. A little bit of sunrise there. I seriously cannot do this mountain off to my left justice with the camera. I don't have a lens that'll go far enough to like see it for what it really is. It is so incredible. I have to research what like mountain it is or what range it is or whatever, but it just so elegantly comes up from the surroundings and it reaches up to the clouds, and it's almost there, like it almost touches the clouds, but it doesn't quite. It's incredible. You have got to come out and see the West for yourself, because it'll leave you speechless. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world, the American West. I'll stand by that for a long time until I find something that beats it. I've been a lot of places in the world. Just keep going through it. They call it the San Rafael Reef, a 30-mile-long barrier, a sandstone wall at the eastern edge of nowhere. Wow. You will ride through the reef in about 5 minutes, entering a wild and spectacular landscape. It's going right through there. The San Rafael Swell. Absolutely stunning. I'm the only person in this rest area as well. But if you ever come out here, you ever get the chance to see it, I highly, highly recommend it. Now let's drive through the cut that cost $4.5 million for 8 miles of road. We'll do a cool little time lapse and get to see some cool sights. Let's do it. Rolled my window down and now it won't go back up. God, your pee is huge. Out here, they run triples. 1, 2, and 3. That's a long... 2 things. First, that pass that we just went through is called the Virgin River Gorge, and it is unbelievable. That is one of the most beautiful bits of road that I've ever driven through in my life. And second, this pilot here in Littlefield, Arizona is fantastic. Good facilities, kept very clean. All the people are very friendly. If you're ever coming through here, Littlefield, Arizona, stop at this pilot. You won't be disappointed. Let's go ahead and get our fat asses to Vegas, shall we? Second time I've encountered this recently. It is raining in the desert. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I didn't know that it rained in the desert, but I do now. And it is in fact raining. And we're gapping this dude right here. Get it! At least you can stop and appreciate the scenery when everybody stops. So that's good. What the f is going on? I'm in Nevada, in the desert, and it's rain. What the f? Big day today. We did some of the most incredible driving through some of the most unbelievable, breathtakingly beautiful places today. This is the highlight of my job and why I do what I do. So that I can go to these kinds of places, see these kinds of things. This kind of scenery is everything to me. I love it.
I don't even know what that means, but I love it!
That being said, I want to talk about one little thing real quick. I've mentioned mental health before. I don't know if you guys watched that video or not. If you haven't, go back to my first trucking vlog and check that one out. It's really crappy. I know, it was filmed on a phone. You may not even be able to understand what I'm saying when I talk about that, but we'll make this a better iteration. I feel very strongly about keeping yourself mentally healthy, and it's hard to do out here on the road. I know I'm not the only one that experiences it, but loneliness definitely gets the better of you out here. You can get stuck into depression. Anxiety and stress are huge factors in how you feel day to day going throughout your job, just because of other people that you have to deal with on the road, or situations, or traffic, or issues with whatever. I mean, that kind of applies to anybody that's driving on the roads, whether you're on a road trip in a car or you drive a truck every day or whatever. It may even affect you worse if you're just doing it in a car and you're not used to doing it every day. But for us that do it by ourselves, it does take a toll on you being alone for so long and having such little human interaction. Sure, you can talk on the phone to people. I have, other friends that are drivers that I talk to pretty often. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend a book to you. The book is called The Alchemist. I don't know where my hard copy is. It may be in the truck somewhere. I can't remember. But even if it's not, you can find it on Audible, any bookstore. It's called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I highly recommend you read it. One of the things that I learned from that book personally, and it'll teach you a lot if you're ready to hear it, but one of the things that I learned from that book personally was the main character learns to develop a relationship with the world around him. When you have the presence of the world around you, you realize that you're not alone. When you understand that everything is energy, everything has its own relationship with the next thing, you have a relationship with the person in the vehicle next to you that you may have never met them. You both share a bond of driving on the same road together at the same time. You're dealing with the same environment. You're both human beings. You both deal with human problems. The mountains off to my right. I have a relationship with those mountains. We are in the same environment. We're experiencing the same rain. We are sharing the same general space. I can be friends with those mountains. If I consider those mountains my friend, then I'm not alone. I'm with my friends. Another thing as well is just valuing your own company. Especially when you have the amount of time to kind of think about everything that we do, you have the opportunity to go through these things in your head that conflict you and to sort through them and to actually make progress to turn yourself into who you want to be versus who you are now. That's not saying that you may not be happy with who you are now, but you can always find improvements and you can always make things about yourself better as the days go on. And I try and do that to the best of my ability. I learn from all my interactions with other people. I learn about things in my past that I'll go over in my head and I'll think of, okay, this is what happened. How can I learn from this? I don't ever try to think about situations in my life as like, oh, pity me for this, or I deserved that, or I wish this didn't happen, or I regret that. Anything of that sort, you're really just tearing yourself apart. You take each situation as they come and you disassemble a situation and think to yourself, okay, what could I have done differently? What could I have done better? What could I have done worse? Did I make the right decision? If not, then what was the right decision? And you go through that enough in your own head and you'll start to work through these problems and you'll understand kind of your own inner workings and what's going on in your head. And when you kind of figure that out, it makes life a lot easier because you develop this process of going through situations that are adverse to you, and you can continue that every day of your life. And if you continue doing that every single day, you're gonna improve yourself. I try my best to do that every day when I'm out here, simply because I have the amount of time to do it. And I'm far from perfect. I know that personally, very much. I know that everything that I've been through in my life has been a lesson. I don't regret anything that I've done in my life. And I try and take these things and the lessons that I've learned into everything that I do going forward in my whole life. And because of that, I'm happy. That's not always the case. You're not always going to be happy. Things aren't always going to go your way, but you have to learn to deal with the bad in order to enjoy the good. I'm a Zen Buddhist, and one of the teachings in Buddhism is that you have to go through suffering to understand the feeling of happiness. And it's kind of crazy how true that is, because you would never know good if you didn't know bad existed. Nothing would be good if you didn't have something bad to compare it to. And there's just so many opportunities in this world to expand and explore and to do things you would never imagine if you push yourself out of that comfort zone and you want to grow and experience. And I think that's what life is all about, is finding these things that are gonna grow you as a person and, finding your own personal happiness. And for me personally, I've kind of developed a relationship with the camera, and I associate it with YouTube. And when I put the two together, I feel like I've always got somebody there, somebody to talk to. And I understand that's probably a little bit weird. Some people may not be able to understand that, but I don't feel as lonely when I have the camera. It's like I've always got a friend. I've always got somebody there that's paying attention and watching and listening and talking to you. Or maybe not talking back, but that I can talk to. That's my rant for the day. We are just north of Las Vegas in Nevada. I didn't even realize I had crossed into Nevada. Where I stopped in Arizona, that Flying J was so close to the Nevada border. It was so close to the Nevada border that I didn't even realize that I crossed it. So I missed filming the sign, but whatever. And then I ran into this bad storm.
Another round from the monsoon hit southern Nevada. The storm's bringing heavy rains across the valley,
Which I never expected. And I got into this bad storm, and I knew if I tried to go closer to Vegas or through Vegas, it was just going to be a nightmare with traffic. And when I got to a truck stop, it was going to be impossible to find a spot. I haven't been inside this Love's yet, but the facility itself, the outside and everything, it looks nice. It looks clean. It looks like it was, built fairly recently. So I'll check it out as well. Hopefully it's a good one. Other than that, we are going to roll all the way to LA tomorrow. It's really not that far. I think it's like 6 hours. We don't have to deliver until Wednesday. I don't know. I'm going to have to look around and figure out where I'm going to stay tomorrow night in LA. That's going to be fun. There's always a consideration of like, yeah, you're in Las Vegas. You should go and like do a little tour of Vegas and get some cool shots of lights and this, that, and the other. But there is a million things on YouTube about Las Vegas that are a lot more in depth than anything I could give you. So if you really want to see Las Vegas, go find one of those videos. I'm just going to drive through it in the morning. So I'm going to do some editing, chill out for a little bit, and I'll see you in the morning when we go through Vegas. Bye-bye.